George Strait, referred to as the king of country music and also regarded as one of the finest track acts in latest decades, is one of the most respected musicians of all time. His voice, particular songs, and real authenticity have set him in a class of his personal within the tune enterprise. Following greater than 30 years of presenting the sector with super music, he announced his retirement back in 2012. Back the same year with Roadrunner. In 2012, However, the unknown destiny holds something new for the Strait-owned family. And it is precisely what we all notion it'd be. But before we get to the bottom of what that is, permits check out the existence of the United States music star. What makes George Strait stick out from different United States singers? How did his tune form the evolution of U.A. music over the years? Join us as we unravel the existence story of the United States song superstar and what his son subsequently showed to the general public. George Strait became born on May 18th, 1952 to John Byron Strait Sr. and Doris Jean Kuzer in Poteet, a small city placed in Texas. He brought up in Pearsall, a town in Fayette County, southwest of San Antonio. His father turned into a junior excessive school mathematics trainer and a rancher on a 2,000-acre ranch outside of Big Wells, Texas. The circle of relatives helped out at the ranch each weekend, and in the course of the summer season, when George changed into within the 4th grade, his dad and mom got a divorce and his mother relocated, together with his sister, Pensy. George and his brother John Buddy Jr. had been additionally delivered up by their father. For the better part of his adolescence, Strait was ranching along with his older brother and his father. Strait started his musical career at some stage in his high school years, playing in a rock and roll storage band known as the Stoics at Pearsall High School. In order to form his own fashion, he incorporated affects and concept from the Beatles and different British rock invasion-era companies that were famous all through that time. His musical choice soon changed, and he evolved in hobby in country track with musicians Hank Thompson, Lefty Frizzle, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Bob Wills, Hank Williams, and Frank Sinatra as his style idols. Strait failed to listen to U.S.A. song radios a whole lot as a child. Instead, he used to pay attention to the information and the Farmer's Report. He became mainly uncovered to United States song through seeing performances, which was, in keeping with Strait, a common issue in each metropolis in Texas. In this manner, he changed into capable of collect all way of numerous and sundry inputs that could eventually form the basis of his very own unique fashion. George Strait's career as a musician were given greater interest at some point of his years at college. It became at Southwest Texas State University in San Marcos. Strait located his place inside the United States band, the Stony Ridge. By answering a recruiting flyer the band published across the university, looking for a new vocalist. This was where he commenced to shine his guitar and vocal talents. The band performed at specific neighborhood nightclubs and bars across South and Central Texas, and whilst a ways east as Huntsville and Houston. Strait renamed the group the Ace Within the Whole Band, and earlier than lengthy he had become the band leader. They acquired a positive local reputation and opened for country-wide bands, which included the Texas Playboys. New York Times said, United States music is the most immersive. An independent label in Houston gave them the hazard to report several singles that Strait had written, including that Don't Change the Way I Feel About You and I Can't Go On Dying Like This. However, the songs did no longer get any substantial acknowledgement, and Strait endured to work at his circle of relatives' cattle ranch throughout the daylight hours to earn some extra cash. Strait persisted gambling with his band and nevertheless had no ties to the tune recording industry. He later became buddies with Irv Woolsey, who operated one of the bars in which Ace and the whole band used to play. Irv changed into a former worker of the fundamental label MCA Records. Woolsey turned into able to convince some of his contacts in Nashville to come back to Texas and concentrate to Strait and his band play. They had been inspired, however, in a while they couldn't offer a deal. The idea that they could not marketplace the Western swing sound that the band played became the most important trouble they confronted. However, Strait endured to visit Nashville within the hopes of landing a document deal, and became rejected by way of every single label. Tired and dissatisfied, he determined to leave music. He made the band privy to his plans to depart, however, after a conversation with his spouse, who advised him to provide music any other chance for one greater 12 months, he reconsidered. Not long after, Strait signed to a recording agreement with Essential label MCA in February 1981. 981. The preliminary agreement turned into for just one tune. If the Unmarried did properly, the label could then, don't forget, freeing an album. The ace inside the entire band still remained with Strait and achieved as the backup and visiting band of George Strait's new solo career. In the spring of 1981, MCA Records released Strait's first single, Unwound, which climbed to #6 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart that 12 months. It turned into later protected in his first album, Straight Country. The album came out with greater singles, Down and Out, and If You're Thinking You Need a Stranger, There's One Coming Home, which had been additionally hits. Straight Country became this kind of notable hit that critics jeered it as a new traditionalist step forward, which became a fresh alternate from the pop-dominated variety that was prevalent for the duration of that time. Strait got here up with every other album, straight from the heart. In 1982, the album had the first single of his career to reach primary, Fool-Hearted Memory, and Amarillo by Using Morning, which became additionally a Pinnacle 5 hit as a Western ballad. In 1983, Strait made his debut at the Houston Livestock Show in Rodeo, while the headliner fell unwell with flu and had to cancel, and Strait stepped in for him. Since the rodeo performance, it has remained his trademark in the course of his profession. He has been in the rodeo arena extra than 20 times and has performed for over 1 million enthusiasts. Strait had 17 primary songs at some stage in the last decade, such as a set of 5 that spanned from 1983 to 1984 from his subsequent 2 albums. The albums have been Right or Wrong, which turned into his first #1 album, and the CMA award-winning album, Does Fort Worth Ever Pass Your Mind? The following 12 months, he gained the CMA Award for Best Male Vocalist and launched his first compilation album, which turned into a set of his songs from those first 3 albums. In the 12 months 1985, Strait released Something Special, the third #1 album in a chain, with the Chair song as its pinnacle. Unmarried. In 1986, he acquired the CMA Vocalist of the Year award and attained the #1 spot for his 4th album. This period was the turning factor of Strait's profession. It expanded him to superstardom and made him one of the style's key figures. Despite all the United States and downs that happen inside the personal lifestyles of George Strait, he controlled to hold a consistent and calm attitude. He has been wedded to his spouse Norma for decades, and their love tale is diagnosed as one of the maximum enduring inside the history of country song's classics. George and his wife Norma have been fanatics in excessive college. However, neither of them may want to wait until they'd introduce their dating to their respective families. They eloped at the 4th of December 1971 when they graduated and got married at a private rite held in Mexico. The same year, Strait joined the U.S. Army as an infantryman. He was stationed at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii with the 25th Infantry Division. Here he auditioned for and joined an Army-subsidized USS music band referred to as Rambling Country, and he carried out each on and rancid bass beneath the call Santee. Strait served in the military for 4 years, from 1971 to 1975. And then he got to the rank of corporal. During his Army years, his ardor for tune did no longer fade away, and it became precisely at this period that he excelled as a performer, which would be the basis of his tremendous career in U.S.8 Both Strait and Norma have youngsters. The first toddler, Jennifer, became born on October 6, 1972. Their son, George Harvey Strait, popularly referred to as Bubba, became born in 1981, but the own family's happiness becomes short-lived as their daughter, Jennifer, at 13 years old, become killed in a vehicle twist of fate in 1986. The United Press International pronounced that she changed into in a speeding car that flipped at the same time as it became trying to make a turn, and she wasn't putting on her seatbelt. After Jennifer's death, he carried on with song and paintings. However, for several years, he did no longer communicate to reporters. This loss that broke George's coronary heart turned into one that deeply scarred him and his circle of relatives, and the ache runs very deep. Even now. Not best has George dealt with this loss. However, he has additionally encountered different issues that come with his tune career. He's needed to face a variety of pressure of being well known. These consist of media intrusion and being a public determined who's constantly under the scrutiny of the media. Nevertheless, George has never lost his sense of being right down to earth and maintaining his family and tune as the top priorities in his thoughts. Not tremendously, George's private existence stays the number one idea in the back of his music, witnessing elements of love, loss, and resilience in his songs that mirror from his very own existence. The artwork of nostalgia and his talent for connecting with fans on a personal degree is the important thing to the recognition of his works among so many humans. Besides tunes, Strait also has a few other interests that he enjoys, like steer roping, golfing, and snowboarding. Strait and his longtime friend business companion, Tom Cusick, created the Vaqueros del Mar Cowboys of the Sea. This is